देश है। विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बात के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साफ मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूं, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल टू आईटी। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया टुमारो।
You are on mute, actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the Elets Food Safety and Quality Summit. The topic of this panel discussion is Raising the Bar, Indian Regulatory versus Meeting Global Standards. And we have with us Mr. Madhav Chakraborty, Joint Director and Regional Head, Indian Institute of Packaging, Northern Regional Center in Delhi. In his career spanning over 32 years in the field of packaging, he has contributed by working in various packaging projects and consultancies, addressing different packaging problems in over 50 companies. A postgraduate in packaging from IIP Mumbai, an MSc in Environmental Science and an MBA in Marketing Management, he has attained an UNDP fellowship training in packaging from TNO Institute of Packaging, Netherlands, Karl Densberg Center in Germany, and Aberdeen University at Scotland. Next, we have Mr. Radhe Shyam Dikshit, founder and chairman, Ananda Dairy. Mr. Dikshit is a veteran in the Indian dairy industry with over 3 decades of experience. He is the creator of the brand Ananda, which began in a small outlet in 1989 and today has grown to an autonomous private body. Next, we have Mr. Kajal Devnath, Chief Regulatory Officer at TFM Foods, Advent International USA. Mr. Devnath has 27 years of experience in food industry and has proficiency of working in Germany for a technological design approach to resolve nutrition, quality, and food safety. He has also collaborated with the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or FSI, for pioneering milk fortification and various other critical regulatory amendments. And joining us shortly will be Dr. Kriti Soni, Head Formulation Development at Dabur Research, experienced Head of Development with a demonstrated history of working in the pharmaceutical industry. Dr. Soni is skilled in development of novel drug delivery systems, topical and oral products, clinical trials, regulatory affairs, and nanotechnology. She holds a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences from Jamia Hamdard. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with this panel discussion. I'd like to pose a very macro or overview question to Mr. Kajal Devnath. Mr. Devnath, let us understand, please help us understand where do we stand with regard to food regulations in India. If you can pan out this picture and educate and inform our audience.
Yeah, thank you, Mrinmay. And I just wanted to be indebted and privileged that Elets has organized this Food Safety and Quality Summit. And we are discussing these important things of food safety. And of course, regulatory framework is is something which is required to really drive this in the country. So post 2000, six scenario was different, and in India, we had various kind of regulations. We had a PFA, we had a FPO, food product orders, we had a oil products order, Vanaspati products order, meat products order, and so and so. There were so many egg mark still it is there. So it was felt, by industry as well as government, and looking that how this regulatory regime has to perform, to in a consolidated manner. So what happened that there was a requirement of unification of these regulations. So industry has really worked with, and Ministry of Food Processing was really understanding that to bring the, basically how what is happening is that in India we have so much of agri produce, whether you call it milk, in terms of milk, or in banana, and many other things. We are other number two, number one, number three, number four. Likewise, in the globally, our production has been so much, but then we are also very good in having a lot of wastages. Like I would give you a simple example. Like in UK, the whole processing of food product, whatever is happening, and whatever is wastage is similar. Like whatever we do wastage is something like in UK has been consumed. Like so, there has been a lot of gaps. Of course, there is a supply chain issues are there, but then also there are some regulatory regime because of which it is not really not able to have this, make it to a global level, and need to have a benchmark to streamline for the exports. So those things was urgently required to have a consolidated, like one nation one food law. On their journey in 2006, there was a Food Safety Standards Act was it was proposed in the parliament, and later on it was time to time there has been some amendment. So 2006 FSSA Act, something which has been unification of so many kind of pockets of regulation which was there, and so any food business has to go for so many kind of authorities to really go for licenses and other things. So this was a landmark thing which has happened in India. And then 2008 onwards, FSSAI has started working, and then 2011 onwards, all this mother act of FSSAI has been brought into various regulations. There are a lot of grievances was there which has been taken care of, and there has been some kind of a balanced way of working out the penalties has been there. So there has been good part. Of course, when you go in the journey, there will be some improvement which is happening. So from 2006 to 2016, so 10 years, a lot of things has happened. And from 2016 onwards to 2020, there has been remarkable work at a global level also happened. So at times there are some challenges are there, and challenges whenever are there, industry challenges, FSSAI also has been very kind to really understand those issues, and has been taking those amendments in a balanced way, so that the consumer which is required to be given safe and wholesome food, which is the overarching things of the FSSAI Act. And based on that, there are various kind of regulation which came out of this. One is licensing regulation. Then came your product standards. Products में क्या standards होना चाहिए, all that. And then we had contaminants related regulations. We have our packaging and labeling regulations, and there are some provision of sales, and subsequently these regulation has been going through amendments with the benchmark of global, like Codex and various other US FDA, Europe, FESANS, all these regulations, regulatory authorities. There has been FSSAI official has been visiting globally. There has been a lot of Codex participation from industries and all. So from 2016 onwards, I would say there was a leaps and bounds of work. We had some problems of product approval, which has also been sorted out. Then new proprietary regulation has come, which has really given, and then there was a non-specified ingredients and products approval. So the product approval issues has been divided into, by giving, nutraceutical regulation, proprietary food regulation, as well as non-specified food regulations. So approval regulations. So all this put together has really resolved these issues. There are some, antibiotic related issues where that has been also taken care of. Pesticides, a lot of issues where this was not has been repeatedly been submitted by FSSAI. So there has been a remarkable, amendment has happened. And likewise, now currently we are sitting with the new packaging labeling regulation. So now packaging labeling regulation, earlier that has been divided into a packaging and labeling regulation. Now labeling regulation also has been added with the labeling and display regulation. So like the restaurants, the QSR part, in addition to the packaged food industries, people are will be coming under labeling and display regulation. And packaging has already been separated by taking all the standards of BIS, which is the latest standard has to be mandated. Then there was more stringency. Then 2011 has happened. So overall, if I say that, is there been any progress? Yes, there has been a lot of progress since FSSAI has been established, and we are going towards the global benchmark. We are talking about HFSS, which is a cause of concerns, but there are some issues like India need to exhibit like a lot of learnings, and on those there has been a lot of representation from industries, from various other stakeholders, and the dialogue has been done. So there has been progressive things. So overall, if I say that in today's scenario, in a nutshell, if you say what is the status of India's regulation, I would say it is in a good head, and we are going in a progressive manner. But we are yet to get into the a lot of good things also has been incorporated of the global things, but there are still a lot of room for improvement which is required. And one of the biggest thing, which is something which I find that FSSAI should focus, is that the whole India, we have got so much of crores of food business operators, whether petty food business operators or retailers. The taking a FSSAI license or 100 rupees registration, this is something which is not been enforced and not been talked about, which is very important. And connecting to consumer and to generate through that number of any issues, what will happen? These will create a consumer demand for food safety, and because of that, everything on the unorganized sector, which is still there, like there are some packaged food which has got labels, which has got some FSSAI licenses, and you get all the standards product. But at the same time, same products are also available in a open market, which does not have any kind of food safety, does not have a licenses and all that. So those unorganized sector has to come participate in these things to have a for the consumer to have a lot of food safety related things to be resolved in the country. And in that directions, there should be a lot of awareness programs. Yes, FSSAI has taken a lot of Eat Right Mela and those kind of things, Eat Right India movements. I think those things has to go more to the all parts of India. It has to connect. Consumers should demand for those kind of things, and then there should be easy access through digital portals and all, so that more number of people participation for making food safety to happen. And taking those feedback, I think FSSAI can go for those improvement and make sure that overall, I think we make a good progress on that. So I think as of now, we are in a good hand, but we have a lot of things to really move forward. So I think this is from my side.
Thank you, Mr. Devnath. We will touch upon the best practices and packaging in granular details as we delve into this panel discussion. Mr. Dixit, you have, could you lend your perspective to this topic?
Pardon?
Mr. Dixit,
Hello?
I'm saying, can you lend a perspective? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
Hello?
now audible.
Yeah, I'm saying, could you lend your perspective to this subject?
Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Uh, Actually, one thing has been defined very clearly that FSI is working hard to give India a overview that we are also working hard for food safety for our consumers. But one thing I want to put focus here that if you are giving this Indian traditional so-called cottage cheese is called here in paneer. If you are giving consumer loose paneer, then GST is zero. And if you are giving good quality of paneer, then there is 5% zero, 5% of GST. So it's not, you can say, justice for the industry and for the consumer. For loose paneer, you can say consumer for consumer side is a myth. Consumer thinks that loose paneer is fresh paneer. On the other hand, this industry branded paneer is giving best quality, but consumer think that this paneer because it's costly because due to GST, and you have to fight with the you can say loose paneer manufacturer where government is not taking focus. So this is one thing. And other hand, this way uh, generated by these loose paneer manufacturers is really hazardous for the environment. They are least bothered. They are doing nothing for this way drainage. They are just draining way into the environment. And one more thing I want to give focus here that the cattle feed we are manufacturing in our country, it should also be you can say synchronized with the food because uh, this cattle feed is not having so much regulation because aflatoxin is coming from cattle feed into the cattle and the milk and finally what you are giving to your valuable consumer. So this one health program should be very much focused for our country. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dixit. Mr. Chakravorty, before I bring you later on the packaging landscape, do you have any insights to share based on your observation and your vast experience in this F&B domain?
See, thank you for giving question. See, India is very vast. I would like to share little insights. All of us knows the facts. See, 130 crore people, they need in the morning their breakfast, tea, milk, bread, daily needs. And this has to reach to every houses, even in the pandemic situation. So demand of packaging has enhanced and increased very high level, and really it is a fantastic work done by the all packaging industry as well as food packaging people to reach out all these citizens of India and some foods in their house, and they survive. So role of packaging cannot be for avoided, and government of India through FSSI all these regulations which has been imposed and people have followed it. That is why we are able to get the packaged food and in our hand. And during the pandemic, I don't think that people have encouraged the loose food items very high. Rather, people have gone for the packaged food, which are labeled properly and marked properly within having all these regulations. And people are now educated to see the labels also. And as he's Dikshit Saab said, it's a very really real scenario that many people they favor that open one. This is a two types of customer segmentation have been done by the manufacturers itself nowadays. Who is looking for good quality packaged food? Their segmentation have been made by them, and there are some people always looking for the fresh one. That is decreasing. But if you see the milk product, one of the things, only 20% of the milk based products are packaged coming in the India, and the milk his production is who's number two in the world rather than number one. We are producing milk, and this is a demand of the packaging is increasing where industry has to work with the different way to encourage the packaging to come out all the things in the packaged form. and we have improved a lot. If you see the compared to the earlier scenario where we were and how these all this open market the food was served for, now you see that quantity of the food, the packaged form coming in the market has been increased very much, and we have to come up further more, and that is what we are looking forward. And one more thing I would like to tell you, the regulations which has been mentioned by Mr. Kajal, very true. FSSI has done a lot of compilation of the data together instead of all different standards. Earlier it was there compiled together in the one place. It has become very convenient for these all food manufacturers and packaging people to come and follow the things as per the requirement. And these are the initiatives which has made it possible for India to serve the food in the perfect manner. And we have to work more. Rather, we should not be satisfied with what we are doing. And especially onto the environmental point of view, many regulations has been modified, and people have started understanding that thing. One more thing is campaign among the consumers for the requirement of the packaged food and right in a convenient manner, contaminant free, and these things that should be popularized. I personally feel that more seminar, more conference that can help to consumer to come out with these type of things. That is possible through the national level campaign. It can be done, and at the same time that different seminar people can be called for open forum discussion that can be also increased, even in the through TV channel. If this program can be organized, so where people will come to know, because that media people are looking forward and they are understanding faster, so they that can help that to understand the requirement and why people should buy the packaged food rather than the open food from the market. Because now situation is that people have been educated through media what you should do, what you should not. Due to the pandemic situation, contaminants chances is very high here at this situation point of time. In the open market, open food like this, what you have mentioned, that the paneer is being sold in the open condition, I personally feel it should be stopped, and people should not accept that type of things which is sold in the open market. So with this thing, I would like to also tell you that in our country, fruits and vegetables and food also, huge quantity we are getting spoiled due to the poor packaging, handling, and storage. So if we can save that thing, then surplus food can be supplied to the other countries, and the export market can be boosted, which our government of India is always talking about. Even fruits and vegetables, if you see 30 to 35% earlier, now it is 25% of the things have been spoiled due to the storage, poor packaging, poor handling. So these are the area where scope of the processed food has been taken care of, and if and that can be processed and packaged, then it can come in the market in the nice manner, and consumer will be getting the product and the right quality and right manner and fresh, as well as shelf life will be higher, which will be very much useful, and our country will be benefited out of it. And here role of FSSI is very much there. They have given beautiful guideline. I was also part of that committee where a lot of industries and government contributed together, and it's an ongoing process. Many thing amendment are going on, and you will be getting soon know many things, and which will be giving the highlighting to the global market also, and it will be beneficial for everyone. So thank you. I hope that I have given little background on what we will be talking on.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. Thank you so much. I would now like to go to Mr. Dikshit, and let's understand what is dairy industry doing with regard to observing total quality assurance mechanisms like TQMs, and do we, first of all, do we need to meet global standards, because we keep on hearing that we have to meet global standards? If yes, how are we doing at that? Or should we have India specific standards for India? What is your take on that, Mr. Dikshit?
Yeah, thank you. As per consumer per se, because consumer is going to buy product if he is getting better quality product from developed country, and we are unable to give better quality from our country, consumer will buy the product with the quality standard, not because of he's staying in this country and he will buy substandard quality product. So industries should raise their own standards to meet the global standards. This is my perception, my thought process. And as per our company, we are very much particular, giving focus from farm gate to processing to the cold chain infrastructure, because everybody can blame our country, but we need the people, we need the industry people. They can take responsibility. They should put the word responsibility rather to put chahiye. Everybody can say ye chahiye wo chahiye, but we should put a word, I can take this responsibility. So I can put my word here, I can take this responsibility. And even I am taking responsibility. One thing I can also give a focus to the word, you can say traceability. Because if one thing we can add in food safety, traceability on each and every packaging, from which source this product has been came out, then every problem can be solved. And one more thing I want to put here also, that everybody knows in our country there is a problem. We should understand this problem in totality, because on vegetable oil GST is 5%, and on the other hand, on desi ghee, which is traditional Indian pure, you can say immunity booster, and lot of things is inside this desi ghee, GST is 12%. What will happen? And one more thing I want to add here. So adding value to the desi ghee, manufactured Indian sweets, GST is 5%. So we need justice, that government of India and all our you can say agencies should give focus to give you can say justification for Indian industry. And one more thing I want to add value here, that you everybody knows that lot of quantity of vegetable oil, crude oil, is being imported from other countries to India. Why should not we promote our Indian desi ghee to the consumer for immunity booster? We can think like that. And one more thing, this puja ghee, puja for puja we should give the purest thing. But on the other hand, what our rural people is eating, the puja ghee, how you can ensure that they will have a good immunity? Who will guide them? Where is gap? Who will take responsibility? So as industry, for dairy, I, RS Dixit, can take responsibility, and we are doing a lot of things for you can say guiding people, to teach them what to eat, what not to eat. But as a country whole, we should all take responsibility. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dixit. Thank you, Mr. Dixit. Dr. Kriti Soni, Head Formulation Development at Dabur Research, has joined us. Welcome, Dr. Kriti Soni, to the panel.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'm Rinmoy, and I'm moderating this panel.
Hello.
Mr. Devnath,
So glad to, so glad to be a part of
Mr.
this
Devnath,
forum. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
please continue. No, please continue.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning that so glad to be a part of this panel. I understand that the importance of this topic is very high. We all understand that we need to raise the bars, and we need to raise the quality standards of the products that we are making right now. So as professionals and as responsible manufacturers and R&D developers, it's a lot of onus on us that we ensure that quality products are delivered to the consumer. And along with that, it is also our onus, or say our responsibility, that we convey how they can differentiate between the quality standards of different products. So India is a flooded market right now, and not even India, the global markets are also flooded with products. But right information and dissemination of that information is very important. So I really believe that all of us here have gathered to convey that message. And thanks to the organizers to have this forum arranged for us. Thank you so much. Please go on.
Thank you. Mr. Devnath, my question to you is there a need? I mean, how crucial is it to harmonize Indian standards with global standards? And how crucial is it to increase India's share in the global food trade? If you could shed some light on that.
Yeah. So basically, Mirmai, we need to understand that globally, FAO and WHO put together in 1934 have created a Codex Alimentary Commission, and this is basically to ensure that supposing we have a products in India and some countries in somewhere in Africa or Europe or in Asia. So we have got those products, for example, mango, cashew. These are the products which we produce in our country because of subtropical climates. Now, we need to, unless we export and we do trades. Likewise, in other countries, they have some other food products. So these products has to go, and now for that there is a WTO. WTO is there, World Trade Organization. So there are some trade related practices. Has to be done in the commercial agreements and all, SPS and all that. That part is there. But then there was a requirement of food safety to be ensured because the rising, incidences of food safety incidences globally, and there the WHO, World Health Organization, and FAO, they came together and they formed. Now these codex signatory countries wise, India also a codex signatory countries. And as I earlier said that from 2016 onwards, from before that also we were participating. Now I think somewhere in from 2016 onwards, this movement has started. India's FSSAI has become a nodal agency. There has been a structured department who interacts with the industry, and there has been a various kind of committees are there for in Codex to participate, and we do participate in that, and then we put forth our views because once Codex sets some standards, and if I adopt that standards, and likewise globally, what happens? Every country partially they start adopting these Codex standards, and which enables other countries only to adjust some of its standards to a little bit partially. So by doing this, what happens? The trade becomes very smooth. Actually, for example, we have a lot of spices. So our black pepper. So black pepper for our Indian standards, we have got certain microbiological parameters. We have got certain chemical parameters. So these parameters, when we say the codex, maybe from US and Europe, they say no, for our country we need some more stringency, and then there will be through the process of various meetings, and there are e-groups are there, and then that committee comes out and finally a standard released, which is okayed by everybody. It means that if with these standards, if I do export, it is partially, I mean, this will be accepted in Europe and USA also because this has been approved by Codex. In addition to that, buyer may say another stringency that is between the buyer and seller. But this is the way Codex has been doing it. And in the process, what happens? FSSAI started adopting those things. One of the things like food additive regulations, we were, because food additive is one of the very big requirements for food industry, and Dr. Kirti Soni, you must be knowing that it plays a big role for research and development. So you have a product, you need to increase its palatability, its mouthfeel, its shelf life, its emulsification. So many product food additives are there. So category specific, putting under GMP tables, no restrictions. So all that which were there in the Codex has been adopted. And more than in 2017, the release which were there, and more than 10,000 of food additives were included, and that was been reviewed. Whatever erstwhile our regulation was there, and time to time there has been some amendment, and industry keeps saying, and whenever there is a in CCFA, the Codex Committee of Food Additives keeps changing. So we started adopting that. So in this process, what is happening is we are adopting the global practices through our Codex platform. Other than that, whenever there is some requirement comes, like for example, now new regulations for labeling has come. So now on new regulations, exactly the nutrition panel, whatever today you see, has been completely changed. Now there are some other parameter has to be given per serve, RDA contribution has to be given, number of serving has to be given. Those are the things where they are in US FDA and in Europe kind of nutrition panel. Now we are talking about front of pack labelings, and then there are some other requirements are also there, like you have to have your FOP, declaration of the product categories. So likewise, these are the things has been a there are some challenges are there which time to time there is a representation, and this dialogue will continue. But a major shift of having some level from one level to another. Likewise, various other standards which were not there. For example, the breakfast cereals. So that is very important products which are then market. Earlier it was in kind of cornflakes and all were proprietary foods. Now there is a standards. So likewise, there are various other standards which were not there and has been. Like there were some SRG process was initiated, which is a specific product group, and then that was for fruits and vegetables, for edible oil, for likewise there are various groups are there, and industry also participated. Scientific panelists to come. There's been discussion. So there has been improvement. So in this improvement, what happens that what we do is from industry, we take these global practices to adopt. What happens that the standard increases. So for the company who does export as well as sells the domestic, he need not to run two productions. So the standards gap between the domestic as well as the international has been narrowing, and we are making a very good progress in this. What I find is there has been a good harmonization is happening, and harmonization for the sake of harmonization should not happen. We should always see that what is today's current status of the country, how our food FBO food business operators are operating, and that need not to be a copy paste from any other country what they are doing. For example, vegan food, something which I just give my views that vegan food something which has been a process where they are saying that milk should not be their part of it. But vegan for us, for Indian context, we always find that milk is something is a vegetarian kind of things, and now there is not much of kind of scientific data are not there that vegetable protein and then milk protein wise how it is better and all that. So sometimes we need to be conscious of that. If vegan becomes more like organics and all comes, then our milk products and all which we talked about, like Radheshamji is talking about paneer and all, we are struggling to make unorganized paneer to come into a packaged paneer, and there should not be any kind of differences in the tax services and all that. And in addition to that, if those kind of situation comes like today that anything like tofu which is vegan and your paneer is not a vegan, so these kind of differences and all that we should be very conscious of it to implement in India, and it should be voluntary sort of things, and on those ground where our country's self-interest has to be kept in like there was some discussion of A1 A2 milk. There is no scientific evidences of A2 and A1 which is greater and which is better. This is all kind of amino acid at various level in the structures has been there. So has been no kind of any research of clinical research to really claim that this is better and all that. So we need to really be conscious that India is globally as one of the largest milk producer. Whatever WHO is saying that per capita milk availability more than that we have. WHO says 290, we are having more than that, 310 or 315, I think, and then so and so forth. So we should be mindful of that, that we should promote those kind of product for which our country's farmers will get a double income. We should be able to connect it to more affordable prices to our consumers, at the same time ensuring the safety and then rather than we just so we do harmonization, but at the same time we should ensure that. So that is something I would say would be the takeaway message from for the discussions. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Devnath. Can I bring here Dr. Priti? Uh, what kind of action is going on in our R&D labs in India? And I mean, what is their role? What will be their role in increasing our share in the global food trade? If you could elucidate on that.
So, yeah, I have some. So, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, you are audible. I'm saying, Dr. Preeti, what kind of action that is going on in our R&D labs in India, and how they can play a vital role in increasing uh, our share, that is India's share in the global food trade. Because yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, so this is a very nice question, I would say. So the thing that you see, what is happening all over is that the labs play a very important role in defining the product in the beginning. So what we are trying to do is that we are conceptualizing the product, analyzing the ingredients, then finalizing the specs of the product, determining the quality standards intended for a different market. Because what happens is that, see, in India, FSSAI is regulating all the oral products, food supplements, but in different countries, the regulations vary. So, like, I'm really glad to see the elaboration of the guideline right now in terms of the food products, if I say particularly, the allergens, the contaminants, everything has been defined. But on the other hand, it becomes very imperative that we test very carefully for the pesticides, heavy metals. So all of this starts from the very beginning, shortlisting the ingredients. So there has to be a quality standard in the ingredients, and at the same time, there has to be a very strong rationale of using a particular ingredient in a particular indication. So, like for example, if I speak about a product for diabetes, so there has to be a very strong rationale that this particular ingredient will work. There should be ample clinical studies. There should be an ample scientific published data, which can help people understand that okay, this is the efficacy, this is the verified literature as per the published literature, and these are the experiments that have been done. So the labs play a very important role from the beginning when the product is designed, when it is tested, and then the owner shifts to manufacturing end. They should be able to do justice with all the R&D that has behind the product. And I believe that if we follow all the standards from the very beginning, we will be very, very successful in commercializing products in geographies all across. So it's not just Indian market where we are trying to establish a market analysis. So big companies all are doing like quality testing of HPLC, GCMS on different ingredients, which is really required because if you have not tested your product properly, you do not have any relevance. How will you check the safety? How will you check the stability and efficacy?
True.
So, batch to batch variation and ensuring that the product is always consistent, these testings are very required. So, the R&D labs are continuously adapting and adopting all of these standards which are globally accepted. So, be the standards of GMP or GLP, CP, which are globally recognized by different regulatory authorities in different countries. We are trying to opt and adapt all those things at the R&D stage so that when the product comes out in the market, it is as per the global standards. And it is not just that, the product is limited to Indian market, so we can compromise a little bit on the quality, but when it goes to abroad, then we'll think of improvising it. But because it is all waste of time, you have to start from the very beginning. So that is how everything is being ensured, and I believe that the food safety standard and the ISO systems of HACCP and the FSMS standards, they are all helping all the R&Ds as well as the manufacturing ends to work very closely. Uh, determine and ensure all these standards from the beginning, and then ensure good quality products in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kriti. Thank you. Mr. Chakraborty, I would like to take this question to you because I would like to highlight the packaging aspect. Can you hear me, Mr. Chakraborty? Hello.
Yes, very much. I am listening.
Yeah. So now I would like to highlight the packaging aspect, and you are a veteran in that subject. Could you please tell us how the packaging industry can navigate the corona virus pandemic?
Yeah. See, it's already been well tested the corona era, the pandemic situation, and already people have focused much more on the packaged food, ready to eat, ready to cook. This type of food is being served, and which has got very good demand in the market. Now, packaging comes in the last phase of the production of any unit, and where selection of the packaging material, technology, and contamination-free package, higher shelf life, all the things coming in the discussion, and people are also following that thing. Here in the pandemic situation, people will be preferring much more ready to eat, ready to serve, ready to cook. These three types of food has great demand in the market, where people have to use that contaminant free packaging, and technology can be adopted, where all sorts of free from the ceiling contamination that should be there, and food has to be properly stored, and it has to be kept in a proper place so that chances of contamination should be fully avoided, and that is what it has to be done, and it says well tested, and people are also getting the result also. Now here I would like to talk on something which is new type of food packaging has introduced in the market, which has also acceptable by the consumer. One more thing, new market has been developed to ready to eat cook, ready to eat food product, ready to serve product. Many of the food companies, they have started and making it and serving, because this was a demanded, and the demand has come to this situation, and role of packaging has come into effect here, and where you have to be very much careful while getting the packaging material from the sourcing. So sourcing means packaging materials manufacturer who has to take care. I have visited many of the packaging materials manufactured during the pandemic situation. They are very much careful. They are not allowing the outsiders, and whoever is working, they are wearing all this apron, and making the floor completely free from the any type of contamination, germs, and bacteria. So by that process, they are making the packaging materials, and then it is being supplied and packaged where food is being processed and packed. There also people are very much careful, and it has to be, and then packaging being done. So this is the things always people have to follow, and following that is why India has done good distribution of the food, packaged food in the market was good, and this is the area this time it has been well distributed, and I think in the next time also anything comes, India is ready for that. And many of the new food industry came up with this situation, who were not doing earlier packaging. They have started doing packaging and serving, and in the proper way it has been labeled also. Now, one thing I would like to highlight, that one question has come, the traceability. This track and trace has already been implemented in the pharma products, and where worldwide all the products are going from India, we have labeling done in the different labeling system has been adopted. Here also in the food packaging, as this type of proposal can be kept, it traceability can be introduced. That can be also helpful for the not only manufacturer but also from the consumer's point of view. They'll be much more satisfied. Regarding harmonization of standards, I would like to tell you I'm a member of many of the BIS committee as well as FSSI committee. So standards are made by the BIS, and that direction is being given by the FSSI. Now, when we say question of harmonization of the Indian standards, many Indian standards are being harmonized with the international standards, and time will be coming, we'll be finding that our standards and international standards gap will be narrowed down, and we'll be getting much more adopted standards in our country also. So this is also another area work is going on in a tremendous way. These all committees are working hard to harmonize our standards, because there is no much difference, but wherever is a similarity or almost similar standards are there, so we are going to harmonize it, and you'll finding that our standards will be meeting up with the global need in future. I think I have answered. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. Thank you for your insights. Only for the want of time, we will have to end this session. Uh, Thank you very much, the lady and the gentleman, for sparing your time and joining on this panel with your deep insights and observations that you have put forwarded before the Indian food and beverages and dairy community. And as a token of our appreciation to you, we would like to present a certificate of participation. Team, can we bring up these certificates, please, on the screen?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Radhesham Dikshit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very
T.T.
much. Thank you
Soni.
all. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Madhav Chakraborty.
Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure, sir. Thank you, Mr. Kajal Devnath.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all once again, and we would look forward to your participation in our future events also. With this, we come to an end of this panel discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.